You're still watching TVC Breakfast. Now, the Supreme Court has expressed dissatisfaction with the federal government's failure to implement its July 2024 judgment, directing that local government allocations from the Federation account be paid directly to them. Now, in a landmark ruling, the court has declared it is unconstitutional for state governors to seize or control funds meant for the 774 local government councils, insisting that allocations must flow straight from the Federation accounts to each council. Now, the court further underscored the constitutional importance of granting local governments financial autonomy, noting that they constitute a distinct tier of government recognized by the Constitution. Direct allocation, the court stressed, is essential to strengthen grassroots governance, improving accountability, and ensuring that development funds reach the communities for which they are intended. Now, joining us via Zoom for this very important conversation is lawyer and public affairs analyst Tunji Abdul-Ahmed. Good morning, Mr. Tunji. How are you doing?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure to have you join us on the show this morning. Now, this is a conversation that we've been having over and over again, talking about, local governments getting their money directly. But oftentimes, we hear that some governors are always gatekeepers and they do not want this, to happen. The court has given a ruling, but it seems like we do not even, follow the ruling. It seems like we do not respect the ruling. But right now, we see that it may be implemented. But I just want us to start with the fact is that, in your opinion, why do you think some state governors are making sure that these local governments do not get their exact money? They want to be the ones that will send the money to them rather than sending the federal government sending the money to them directly.
I think before now, it's probably because they like to corner the money, use it for their own purposes, and give them whatever they think. But I think since the ruling of the judgment of the Supreme Court regarding the case filed by the Attorney General of the Federation against all the states, I think the majority of the states are now complying in that regard. At least money is now going directly to we are told, directly to the local government account, except for few states like Osun State, where there's an issue regarding the validity of the local government elections. So I think it's because we don't operate with rule of law. We don't respect the rule of law. We like to, the interest is not about the people, and that's why you see this kind of thing happen. When you see money being paid to local government and not given to local government, and it's being used by the state government on their behalf and giving them whatever they think. I think we should have local government should be an autonomous institution or arm of government in a way, if you want me to put it that way. Mm-hmm. And I do not see any reason why money being paid through the government or state government should be used by the state government without the authority or without the approval of the local government.
All right, Mr. Abdul-Ahmed, first of all, I want to thank you for your efforts. You really tried to be here in the studio so we can be looking at you eyeball to eyeball while we ask you questions. But for Monday traffic reasons, we are doing Zoom with you. Thank you very much for your efforts. We appreciate that. Now, my question is purely legal. The court gave a judgment, and for 1 year, 1 full year, it was not implemented, up to the point where the Supreme Court had to come in again. What does that tell the international community of the way we run our country as far as the law is concerned?
It does not portray our country well before the international community, because every country that is not respecting the rule of law, because not obeying the court order is lack of respect for the rule of law. Yeah. And if you don't respect the rule of law, you will not expect that foreigners who wants to invest in your country will have that confidence to come into your country to invest, because they will believe that when there's a problem, they won't be able to go anywhere. Even if where they go to court and there's another of court, the order may not be obeyed. There are so many lack of respect for rule of law. Not today. It's been like that for long, where court orders will be made. And then particularly federal government, you should be the one upholding the rule of law, will be the one to disobey it. Unfortunately, in this instance, the Attorney General of the Federation who went to court on behalf of the 774 local government to say, he's protecting them. He was able to get judgment to say, look, enforce the provision of Section 162 of the Constitution. And the court agreed with him that, look, the Section 162 of the Constitution does not allow money due to local government to be paid into the account of to be paid to the state. That it should be paid directly to them. Now that this has been granted by order, it is same Attorney General of the Federation that is preventing this to be implementation of this judgment. It's unfortunate because I am aware that a dispute in the Osun State, and this is because that is the point on ground now. That a dispute regarding the validity of local government chairman. The Supreme Court only said that, look, you don't pay to local government who doesn't have a democratically elected council chairman. In Osun State, whether you like it or not, whether it's valid or it's not valid, they have a democratically elected chairman. So who are the chairman or who are not the chairman are the issue on ground. So they are entitled to be paid their money in line with the Supreme Court. So any attempt not to pay it is an act of what's it called, impunity as far as I'm concerned, and the disrespect for the rule of law and the respect for our court. Unfortunately, is by the federal government, who is supervising the implementation of the or enforcement of Section 162 of the Constitution. It's unfortunate.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Now, there is a worry that if local governments receive funding directly, that there might be misuse at the local level. So from your legal opinion, what safeguards can be put in place to ensure that there is no misuse if these funds are given to local government and their autonomy is restored?
I just hope that is not the reason why the money is not being released, because if you are talking about misuse, even the federal government and the state government are misusing the money. Are they implementing the budget they proposed, or despite all the money available? Things that have been given to them, are they being used the way it should be used? They are collecting, for example, state governors are collecting security vote every year, every month. How well have they used those security votes? Apart from even that, the allocation they collect every month. So that should not be an excuse to not to release anybody's money. So, but the safeguard is that, look, we all have to hold our people accountable, and the rule of law must be complied with. If you don't hold those in government accountable from the federal, state, and the local will not do differently. So, and again, most people that we have at the local government level, as chairman or whatever they have, and councillors or whatever, are people, in quotes, seem to be people who are not duly elected by the people. Because you see most of these things happen, like abracadabra. If a PDP is ruling a particular state, we are sure that if a local government election is conducted, PDP will clear that local government election. Even as it is today, that PDP is in crisis. If APC is in charge of a state, if a local government election is conducted, they will clear everything. The same ditto to other political parties. So, sometimes it's been imposed. I'll give you an example in my state, in Kwara State. Local government election was conducted. They are glaring evidence that the election, all the chairman local government or some of the majority of the elections at the councillorship were won by the opposition party. Alas, the morning, there was no announcement of Mr. A scored 10, Mr. A scored 9, Mr. A scored 5. They just released the names of those elected without any score or votes against their name. So it's unfortunate the way we run it. So it's an imposition of people at the local level. That's why they are not delivering. They see their loyalty to the governor, who they see as the one who put them in charge, and then they must align with his interests. And that's why you see them cooperating with whatever the governor says. So until we have people that will be elected by the people, then we may not be able to get it right.
Mr. Abdulhamid, thank you once again for joining us. But you've made a lot of claims that actually have some question mark. First and foremost, you said that the federal government and the state government are not utilizing the funds, budget very well and all of that. Again, you also said something, just what you mentioned about Kwara State local government, that there are some names. I mean, there were some people, the opposition actually won, and then the incumbent took over, announcing other names. If that is true, why didn't they go to court? Why didn't they challenge that process in court? And if they did, what was the outcome? That's another one. And it is also paradoxical to assume that the federal government that dragged all the state governments to court, 774 local governments, to be autonomous, is now the one, playing against the fact that, not releasing the money to Osun State local government, chairman, which you described the electoral process as either valid or invalid. So if it is valid or invalid, and they hold the position of invalidity, why should they, release the money to them? But the argument, the question which I actually want to ask you, is based on the fact that, there have been some pushbacks, by, analysts who say that direct allocation won't magically fix the problems we see, the inefficiency or corruption in local councils. So if local government still lacks administrative capacity, do you think money can fix that?
I have not said that money can fix it. And in fact, I have even said that, look, we are not getting results at the local government level because people who are elected are not supposed to be there. Some of them are not qualified. Some of them are not even capable to be elected as a chairman. So it's not about money. There are a lot of things wrong with it. The process of electing people who are managing the local government is in question. So until we fix that, and the people who are well recognized by the people, who are well supported by the people, are put in place, and that is when they will have the interest of the people at heart. As it is today, the interest they have at heart is the interest of the governor, or that political leader who made it possible for them to be there. You see, the issue of on the issue of the federal government thwarting the implementation of it, there is no doubt that it's the federal government. You are aware it's not in dispute that the Attorney General of the Federation, we are told, he wrote a letter asking that the money should not be released to CBN and the Attorney General, that the money should not be released because there's a dispute as to who is in charge. The judgment did not say pay the money to the chairman in charge. What the judgment says, or what the law says, is that the money must be paid to the local government account. So local government account does not, whether you have a dispute as to validity of the person in charge or not, does not affect their money being paid to them. It's like saying there is a dispute as regard who is the governor or who is the president. You now say you would owe the money belonging to the state will be withheld until that is resolved. That's not the way to go. So whether or it's not, the money will not be paid to individual. So the money will be paid to the state. And I know normally no chairman should be a signatory. They are not always signatory to the accounts. So why will you be expecting that until we have a clarified local government chairman or somebody that will say, look, this is the chairman before money can be released? It's a local government money, not individual person's money, not a party money, not APC, not PDP, not any other party money. So it's for the local government. So when you pay into the account, you are implementing the law. So you can now work on who is entitled to withdraw the money. That's not even the responsibility of the Attorney General. It's not the police of all the states. Just like what the court said in the last judgment of last week on Friday or so, that the Attorney General of Osun State cannot take action on behalf of local government. I wonder why the Attorney General of Federation was allowed to take legal action or to go to court on behalf of all other local governments when he's not also in the local government. So you see, the lack of implementation of our law the way it should be implemented, or that inconsistency in our decision, is the reason why we are where today. I can't remember the last question you asked or you raised in this issue.
No, I think you already answered that. Yeah. Talking about if the money, if we think that the local government is not, they are not doing what they're supposed to do, you think money can actually fix the problem? And I guess you probably answered that.
Okay, but let me come in from this, aspect. You have made a lot of statements, and I'm just going to do a lot of follow-up. At some point you said that the wrong people are in the right places. I just want to put it in that way. At the end of the day, what are we doing? Because it seems like we say all these things, but, we're not doing something, but we keep talking. Why do we have the wrong people in the right places? That's number one. Number two, how soon do you see this implementation happening? Because we've been speaking about it over and over again, and it seems like a broken record. So how soon do you see it happening? And also, you casually just mentioned accountability, but I think that that's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, if this money is sent directly to the local government, how are they going to handle the money? We need to be sure that they know that they are held accountable for the money, because one of the reasons why people will say, oh, we don't want to give them the money directly is because we still want to have, a say in what they use the money for. So now, if we are giving them this money, how are we looking about accountability to make sure that they truly use the money for what it's supposed to be used for? And quickly, how soon do you think this will be implemented?
Let me start from the last question. How soon it will be implemented should not be difficult, because even the judgment said immediately that it should be implemented immediately. And then the governor came together, they asked for more time, and it was resolved amicably within themselves, and the certain time was given. And yet, we are not. It's not being implemented. It's very easy to implement. It's just for the. Unfortunately, it should not be so that it will be the Attorney General that will direct the CBN as to what to do. No, it should not be. It should be the judgment of court is there. The CBN has their own department of legal department. I know the Attorney General is still in charge of those areas as well. But it should not be the opinion of the Attorney General alone that will determine whether or not money should be released. The Attorney General cannot sit as a court and to determine which law or to interpret the judgment of the court. It is not within his power. His power is not within his responsibility. to do that. So it's not be difficult if there's sincerity in the way and manner we are doing our thing. If there is no, I tell you, leave it, take it or leave it. If the government in power in what's it called in Osun State is APC, that money will have been released since. That issue will not be there. So we are playing politics with everything, and until we leave this politics of a thing and do things in line with the rule of law, we may not get it right. That is the way. That's what I see in that one. Is there you raise another issue again? I can't remember that.
Accountability. How are we sure that we are able to now hold them accountable? What steps do we need to put in place to make them understand that these funds that are getting to you, these are the things you should be using it for, and if you are not using it for those things, you will be apprehended?
You can only be able to hold people accountable if they are elected by you, because once they see themselves as not having responsibility to you, or they don't hold you anything. You are not the one that put them in place. It's not. What we practice in the country. Like I said, I don't like saying we are practicing democracy. I prefer to say we are practicing civilian rule. So whereby so the people in authority in local government, majority of them see themselves as not responsible to the people. They are responsible to the people who put them there. That is the governor or the leader of the party in the state. Yeah. That's what they see. So in that, until that mindset is gone, we will not be able to get it. And that does not apply only to local government. Even the state, how are we holding them accountable? Even the federal government, how are we holding them accountable? Are they rendering account to us the way it should be rendered? You see, unfortunately, again, we don't have the National Assembly and National Assembly that can hold them accountable. Holding them accountable will have been easy if we have a National Assembly or House Assembly that will do their job the way it should be done, that will not play politics with every issue. So the House Assembly is in place to check the SSCs of local government, SSCs of the state government, SSCs of they will not do. Because they are playing politics. And unfortunately, in most states today, I'm not sure we have any states where a National Assembly, House Assembly can be said to be independent of the executive. They act in line with the dictates and directive of the executive. They don't even want to care about what happened or what the citizens are saying, because they don't see themselves as being in that office by virtue of the citizens' votes. They believe that they were put there because one man who is in charge, or who is leader of the party, or who is the governor, will help them to be able to get their appointment. And so therefore, their loyalty is to that person. And whatever he wants, they give it to him. And that's what we see in our state today. The same thing is happening at the national level, where the National Assembly are not working doing their responsibility the way it should be done. You see, challenging or asking questions regarding a proposal from the governor or for the president or whatever, or be sent by the president or whatever, it's not an attack. It's not an attack. It's your responsibility. You have to supervise. You have to ask questions. Raise concerns.
But
that's not the case here.
Nigerians have not gotten to that point where they can ask those kind of questions.
When are we going to get there?
Okay.
When are we going to get there?
Because these discussions like this could galvanize a change of attitude as far as that is concerned. I am looking at the legal side of all these things. The Supreme Court is the apex court. And when the Supreme Court says something, it's almost sacrosanct. But there might be a situation where the Supreme Court's judgment, the execution is delayed. Is there any other intervention that maybe the Supreme Court or the political parties or whoever, I don't know, might come and say, look, the Supreme Court has said this and it has not been implemented till now. Why? Who is that body or that person that can do that?
If the Supreme Court can start its ground and say, look, Attorney General, just like they won the Attorney General the last time, that, look, you are the one causing this failure of implementation. If they can tell him that, look, if this is not implemented, we will cite it for contempt. Apart from citing him for contempt, they can say, look, all the cases federal government is having in the court will not be attended to until that is done. That may even gear them up. You see, we need to be, unfortunately, it's difficult in a way because those who are supposed to be in the forefront of the number one legal officer of the country is the one involved. So, and you know the caliber of the person he is. With due respect, I don't expect that Chief Latif Fagbemi will be in that SAN, will be in that line where policies will be involved. But unfortunately, we are all politicians now. Even and I said it in Nigeria, no matter how good you are, once you are appointed by government or whatever, that you play politics. There is no, if you don't want to play politics, you have to resign. But how many people will resign in this regard? So for me, the Supreme Court can stand its ground. Unfortunately, most times you will see people who have disobeyed the order of Supreme Court go to Supreme Court. As the Supreme Court will see attend to them finely and nicely. So until they stand their ground and say, look, we have an order, or we are going to be blacklisted from coming to this court or from doing anything in this regard, that will embarrass the Attorney General, and probably that will make him do the needful.
Thank you so much. Now, some people, not myself, might argue that this push for local government autonomy is less about democracy and more about weakening powerful governors, weakening very powerful people. And as you rightly said, there's a lot of politicization of this court judgment. But my question is this: how, if local governments begin receiving funding directly, how is this going to reshape political mobilization ahead of the 2027 elections, especially in rural communities where governors currently control, command structures?
Why are we only concerned about local government misusing their money? Why are we not also concerned about the state?
I didn't say they were misusing their money. I asked how is this going to reshape political mobilization ahead of 2027?
Political mobilization?
Yes.
Whether or not they will have a local government in place, they will mobilize. They know how to do it. Our politicians in Nigeria, they are very good.
What they say is that if the federal government is paying to the local government directly, the federal government might be calling the shots, for the local government, as against what used to be with the state government running the allocation.
I don't think so. This is not the federal government dashing them money. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we see it as such, because whenever allocation is given to a state, some states will say they will attribute it to the president, and say as if the president is giving the money from his personal pockets. It is not. Until that mindset is taken away. This money is not federal government money. It's not an individual person's money. It's not being dashed to them. It's their right under the law. Their allocation that is due to them. So it's given to them is what it's meant for, to be used for the people. So nobody should say, because I gave you money, allocation or whatever, you must do what I think you should do. No, it should not be. It's their entitlement, it's their right. So if you have that mindset that, look, these people are not dashing us this money. It's our entitlement. It's what we're entitled under the law. That will not happen. But because majority of them are not there based on their own personal efforts, they were there because they were put there. So they have no choice than to align with whatever has been said. So and that's why I said the process of who become a chairman, and today if you see most of the people who become chairman apart from Lagos State, we have caliber of people who can say yes, they are very big or capable people. In some other states, you see people who are not even qualified to be councillor or to even be a clerk or
Mr. Tunji,
chairman of local government.
So quickly, because of our time, I noticed that when we mention local government and accountability, you're talking about, what about the federal government and what about all of that? But at the end of the day, it shouldn't be about that. Everybody needs to be accountable for monies given to them. Am I right?
That is exactly what I'm saying. That we should not. Accountability should be across board. Otherwise, you see, if you are looking at somebody is carrying a load, he has a bent leg. You are not looking at his leg. You are saying the load is carrying is bent. There is no way to not bend, because the leg must straight. So if the foundation is 40, there's no way you can get it right. So we must start from everywhere. Every house must have it.
Yeah, but I think the reason why we're really focusing on local government is because right now their monies will be allocated to them directly. So we are worried. We don't know what they will do. We don't know what they are capable of. That's why we're really focusing on them now. And we're just hoping that when the monies are finally given to them directly, they don't use it for other things. They don't misuse the funds, and then the people get to suffer at the end of the day.
I agree with you. I have that concern as well.
Yeah.
I have that concern as well. But that should not be a grant to withhold any local government money. We have that concern. It's a sincere concern, because most of the people in charge are not even capable, are not independent. They cannot do anything on their own, and some of them are not even qualified to be there.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tunji Abdulhamid. We must thank you for joining us this morning, public affairs analyst and lawyer. Thank you so much for your great insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we will take a breather now, and when we come back, we will be heading all the way to Abuja. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.